Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie Chase and today I am reviewing AEW Dynamite from June the 14th. What a show it was. The ending blew my mind. There was so much going on. I couldn't even keep track or get to sleep later, but I'm so excited to talk to you guys about it. But first, if you're watching this video and you're like, oh my gosh, did she do Dynamite review live? Yes, I did. My Dynamite reviews are now live for members of this channel as well as members of my Patreon. And if you would like to support me in creating content, help me create more content, help me get out of this awful life of working like 4 jobs, then you can head over to my Patreon and sign up. I have all different tiers. Here they are on the screen. If you just want to throw some coin my way, give me a little tip, you can be a Steph Chase fan. If you want all of the extra content, you can be a Miss Dynamite tier member. If you enjoy OnlyFans, you can be a Patreon and get access to my OnlyFans. And there's also other tiers for those who are a little bit more flush with cash and want to spread the love. But yeah, head over to patreon.com/Stephanie Chase to check those out. Along with watching my live streams, you also have access to exclusive videos. I upload one a week. The first one I did was when I went through my Dream Collision roster. That was just based on a tweet that I did, where I said all the people that I wanted to work with CM Punk and why I wanted them to work with CM Punk. And then just yesterday, I uploaded a video about why the hype just isn't there for Collision. There's low ticket sales in Canada. I've been noticing people aren't as excited as they were like back in the day when Rampage was debuting. I just did a little investigation into why that might be. And of course, I'll have another video next week. I'm pretty sure it's going to be about CM Punk debuting on Collision and my thought on that. But anyway, thanks so much for those of you who have signed up to my Patreon and become a channel member. It's always really heartwarming to know that people like and appreciate your work. And tomorrow, which is Friday, I will be uploading a video that I've been working hard on all week. I've been a busy little worker bee on this video, and it is all about all-in weekend, and it's all like helping you plan your all-in weekend. We're going to talk about where to stay in London. We're going to talk about transport, and we are going to talk about all the events that are happening on all-in weekend. Everything from Fozzy doing a gig to Rev Pro celebrating their 11th anniversary to a free party that's going on before All In. Everything. We are going to talk about that in that video. Please check it out and support it. I did work really hard on it, so any like shares, retweets, whatever would be really appreciated. And it's also going to include some resources for you guys so that you can really plan your all-in weekend. And of course, if you like this video, my Dynamite review, don't forget to like and leave a comment, please. I want to know what your favorite moment of Dynamite was, how hyped you are for Collision, Forbidden Door, all that. Liking my video and leaving comments really helps me in the algorithm, which is so hard to crack. And also hit that subscribe button. So let's get into Dynamite. Also, if you can hear a little bit of a fan noise, I'm really sorry. I'm in Liverpool and my room is a sauna. It is so hot in here. It's so hot that my camera nearly exploded before I went live. So a fan had to go on. Dynamite, it was live from Washington, D.C., and we kicked off with a world title eliminator match. The champion MJF versus Adam Cole. Now, this was very interesting. Firstly, I said last week, I'm never discussing Adam Cole's previous feud again. Which will not be named, that happened before Double or Nothing. And I'm never talking about that again. I will stick to that forever. And the therapy that I'm in about that feud is going really well. But I will say that I said last week that I thought he should have had some kind of buffer before going against MJF because the last feud was so bad. And rather than having a buffer feud, this was like a great kind of buffer match to get Adam Cole back on track. I think this was probably my favorite match that Adam Cole has had in AEW, and that's like a low bar because his AEW run has not been hot. Obviously, there's been injuries and stuff, and like, you know, God bless him for everything he's gone through. But just in general, like, it's not been, you know, hot in AEW. This match, there was some really interesting decisions made in this match that I actually thought came off really well. At one point, you saw MJF going for the old Eddie spot, the old like make the ref think that they you know, knocked you out with the belt. Bryce Winsberg went through like every kind of emotion in this match. Like, he really had to work, but I thought that was a cool little you know, take on that spot, how Bryce couldn't see. And so this match went to a time limit draw, and that was very interesting. It's not like something that they've done before in that way. I think that, yes, they could have called out the times more. I know that Justin Roberts did say when there was 10 minutes remaining, but I saw a lot of people say, yeah, they should have made the times more, but I kind of think not, because like the surprise of it was so good. When that bell rang, I honestly thought that someone else had rung it rather than the timekeeper, you know, just to screw Adam Cole over. But no, it went to a 30-minute draw, and Cole was so close to winning, and it was believable that he could have won because it was a eliminator match rather than a title match. Then Cole asked MJF for 5 more minutes, and MJF was like, no, I've done my work for the night. So this was really good. It was such a hot match. It was a really great way to kick off the show. And I think it will do a lot for Adam Cole. I think he's going to be MJF's challenger for either All In or the mysterious All Out. And giving him this little boost is really good. And then we can kind of maybe take a couple weeks off because MJF is going to have a match at Forbidden Door with Tanahashi. We'll get to that. So you can have like a little break from the Adam Cole thing. And maybe in the weeks leading up to whenever their next title match, or whenever their next match is, we can see Adam Cole, you know, really build himself up and also greatly establish himself as a babyface, because I do think, you know, he came in as a heel. He's definitely someone who's much better as a heel, but I think because he's such a nice guy in real life, people think like he should be a babyface, but it doesn't always work that way. And I think we really have to build up his babyface popularity as well, because some of the other things they tried to do with that just, you know, weren't hitting. But awesome match. And I'm into it. I'm into Adam Cole and MJF. Okay, next. Well, boy, was I nearly crying because we had a video package of CM Punk. This is like the first new Punk footage we've had since Brawl Out. They have, I really, you know, and then my Patreons and members can watch my video of my like thoughts on like why Collision isn't hitting. But I do think that they kind of haven't made enough of CM Punk returning, and it almost still feels like he's not like a dirty word, but like a word to be whispered. But this video package was really good. Punk looked awesome. I was trying to like figure out exactly where he was in Chicago, because I feel like, well, it was an area familiar to me for sure. And he seemed really serious. I'm still not totally sure, you know, how he's going to present himself when he comes back. Is he going to be like all love babyface Punk like he was during his first return? Or is he going to kind of hedge it because he doesn't know how people are going to react to him? And you can certainly see, like, when his name is mentioned in arenas, it is a split, you know, it is a split. So we don't know how people are going to react to Punk, but I love this video package. It was very cool. And breaking news, just before I came on air, Bano sent me a tweet, which I think was from Rover, saying that Brian Alvarez has said that CM Punk is going to be doing a sit-down interview with ESPN that's going to be coming out sometime between now and like Friday evening, which might ruffle some feathers. So that will be very interesting to hear more from Phil and everything. But love this package. And look, you know how I feel about CM Punk, and you also know how I feel about Jay White. And it's one of those things where like these two are going to be in the ring together, and I cannot complain. I cannot complain. These are like my two favorites are in the ring together. Okay, next up, we had the return of Sammy Guevara. And I'm not lying when I'm like, I feel like they fucking hyped this up more than the return of CM Punk. What was Sammy Guevara returning from? Fuck knows. You know, he had his match at Double or Nothing, and then he had like a week or two off. That just seems normal. Anyway, Sammy came out and he was dressed the most normal, or the most how I'd expect Sammy Guevara to dress as a man in real life that I've ever seen him in AEW. So I was like, okay, dude is leaving the JAS. He is leaving behind the leather waistcoats that don't suit anyone in that group other than Jericho. He's leaving that behind. So I did a tweet where I said, okay, Sammy Guevara is coming out to say he's leaving the JAS and he's going to be interrupted by Jericho. So Sammy said, you know, he's got a baby on the way. He's got a lot of things to think about after the four-way. He has to make some changes. But then Darby Allin's music hit. And me, like a doofus that just doesn't want people to think that she's an idiot, I deleted my tweet. Well, I shouldn't have done that. Anyway, Darby Allin was like, Sammy, it feels like people like you now. And the boos were audible. Yeah. So that was quite strange. But then next up, here comes Chris Jericho. Jericho comes out. He's all in leather, and he also had borrowed some shoes from Prince's vault. So that was interesting why he decided to do that. So Jericho was like, Sammy, you never asked me for help in the four-way. Maybe you would have won if you did. And Sammy was like, Chris, you never asked me for help against Adam Cole. Maybe you would have won if you did. So Jericho wanted an apology. He said that maybe they should like reunite the sex gods and have a tag match. And then Darby Allin laughed and said that the magic was gone. And then Jericho was all insulted and said that they should beat down Darby 2-on-1 because Darby's alone. And Darby was like, I'm not alone. And then out comes Daddy Sting. So then we had a face-off between Jericho and Sting, two men comparing their bat size, basically. How do I feel about this? So Sting and Jericho in the ring together. So this is the first time they've been in the ring together in like within the wrestling, like actual wrestling. They were in the ring together before when they were saying goodbye to Keith Mitchell, I'm pretty sure. So that's incredible. They're both WCW guys. It's incredible they've never wrestled each other or been in the ring together. So it's such a big deal. You all know that Sting is one of my favorite wrestlers ever. That's why he's behind me. So I love him so much. And you'll also know that my entry into wrestling was being a WCW fan. And I think that's why I have an emotional attachment to Sting. And I really liked Jericho a lot when I was growing up watching WCW too. I think I would be more excited if it happened like maybe 6 months ago or like a year ago, because the feud that was not renamed has really soured me a lot on people. But, you know, it's such a big deal. And I think it is going to be pretty cool. And I'm just going to let that one like play out. But Sting and Jericho facing off with each other, you know, it was a very cool moment. It's very cool that AEW can deliver that moment. And there are not many matches between two legends of like the same eras that can be done, that are left to be done. And the fact that Jericho and Sting have never had the match before is a really big deal. And Sting, you know, he's getting up there in years. You wouldn't know it to look at him, but he is. And if he is, you know, ending his career, Jericho's probably the guy to do it with, really, considering they were both in WCW together and it's never been done before. So it was certainly cool. I saw a lot of people on Twitter like very excited about that. I guess it's cool that they both have bats. And yeah, I also saw people think that Jericho would do Painmaker to go against Sting. And I know he's like trying to get a Painmaker movie or something. And obviously that'd be two face paint characters, but I think he's better just doing it looking as himself, as much as he might really want to like put on the makeup for it. I would say just, you know, go au natural in the face there. But yeah, cool moment. Look, I got some issues that I have to work through before I can be excited for this match. But I think when the time comes, I probably will be. I'm always excited to see Sting. Anything Sting does, I love. I really do have to stop bringing everything that either Sammy does or Jericho does back to Daniel Garcia, but he's often on my mind. I just feel like I've said this so many times. I want that Daniel Garcia shoot interview when he leaves. I want to know what happened during the whole You're a Wrestler storyline where it felt like they just dropped it. I want to know what was going on there. And it seemed like when Sammy joined the JS, they just plugged him into everything that would have made more sense for Daniel Garcia to be doing it, such as being in like the 4-way Ring of Honor championship match. It would have been made more sense, I think, for Garcia, who was, you know, having issues with Jericho. Things were a bit iffy to be the guy from his team in that match, but they didn't do it. And it's like, it feels like someone high up in AEW, whose initials might be CI, is like very obsessed with getting Sammy Guevara over. And I don't know why. And I think given the reactions we generally see to Sammy as a babyface and like his first try at being a babyface and just kind of how the reception to Sammy is, I'm not sure it's worth putting that effort into Sammy Guevara and trying to make Sammy Guevara the babyface that you think he is. I think that effort would have been way better placed with Daniel Garcia and you would have got better results. But that's not where we're at. Garcia, I'm glad that he's going to be in the ring with Shibata and Zack Sabre Jr. That's really cool for him. I hope he has a great match at Forbidden Door. But imagine if he'd been in this spot with Sting. Like, it would have been so cool. I don't know. I'm just always pro Danny. I just think something happened there, and we'll get to the bottom of it one day. We'll get to the bottom of it. Speaking of Sting, next it was Orange Cassidy, Darby Allin, Sting, and Keith Lee defeating the Mogul Embassy, Swerve Strickland, Brian Cage, who is doing Surfer Sting paint for no reason, because, I mean, I get maybe doing it for like the psychology, put your opponent off, but dude, you're not important enough to phase Sting by putting on his face paint, so it looked kind of silly. He kind of just looked like Barbarian or someone. And the Gates of Agony as well. This was pretty fun. And yeah, Sting fell quite awkwardly at one point, but like hopefully he's okay. He won with a Scorpion Death Drop, got his team the victory. Yeah, I always enjoy Sting wrestle, and it was cool to see him. Mogul Embassy, I'm still like totally down on, just because I think Swerve needs to be on his own, because they just surround him with geeks, and he's so cool. He's way too cool to be hanging out with Brian Cage. Like, come on. Then we had the Guns issuing a challenge to the Hardys next week. And I think this match is going to be on Dynamite. That is a fucking Rampage match for sure. What is Rampage for if not to have Jeff Hardy wrestle on it in the hope that most of your audience will never see it? That's what I think about that one. But I do really like those Gun Boys. Then we had Wardlow defeating Jake Hager to retain the TNT Championship. Now, I know some people were like, why did Jake Hager get that match? Some people thought that Wardlow was about to be sucked into the Jericho vortex, but no, they just wanted a big guy for Wardlow to wrestle, and they've wrestled before. This was fine, but the devaluation of Wardlow and the TNT Championship, it's a sad state of affairs, and Wardlow needs to be gone, separated from Arn Anderson. I really don't think he's bringing anything to the act, and I have to say, I hate the Glock spot. I know some people think it's funny and like it's a bit of a meme, but I just don't like the gun reference and all of that, and it's just like not worth it at all. Wardlow, it feels like Christian and Luchasaurus, who we saw afterwards. Let's say they did a promo on the screen and then they just bloodied Arn Anderson and he looked like a like doll just laying there. Wardlow, it feels like the focus is too much on Arn rather than Wardlow, and I just don't think that's good at all. Per Wardlow, this is what I said this on when I was previewing Double or Nothing on Fightful, and I said that because in some of the like promos on like road tours before Double or Nothing, Wardlow is being referred to as Michael by Christian. And I said that they've taken him from being a Wardlow to a Michael, and that's no slight on Michaels at all. I like a lot of Michaels, but I just mean, Michael is a name that you hear every day. It's an ordinary name. It's a popular name, and Wardlow is way more unique and like mysterious. Like, ooh, Wardlow. Ooh, who's Wardlow? And he cut his hair off. I don't think that helped things at all. And he really has just lost that like aura that he had back in the day when he was with MJF and he was doing the MJF feud. He's now just a guy. And he's a guy called Michael, who seems to be not worth Christian's time as much as Arn Anderson is. Okay. Next, Tanahashi challenged MJF, and basically MJF was like, no, thank you. And then apparently Tony Khan was like, no, this match is official. So we're getting MJF, Tanahashi at Forbidden Door. That makes sense. Tanahashi is the ace of New Japan and just kind of that forever babyface respect guy. MJF has no respect for New Japan. It's going to be a very interesting match. And it's going to be another one of those matches that just proves what a good wrestler MJF is, and that he's absolutely not just a promo, if there's still any idiots that believe that. But I'm excited for that one. I will say, though, the Forbidden Door card, even though we haven't got that many matches announced, the Forbidden Door card is like already too stacked. I'm like, if you want to get like everything you can out of Ospreay, Omega, and Danielson and Okada, like how much more can we stuff on this card? Or is it going to be like 7 hours long? I worry. But very cool match. Next we had Toni Storm defeating Sky Blue for the women's title. I thought it was funny that they announced Sky Blue being from Chicago, and she's getting this big shot. And they're going to be in Chicago next week. They could maybe held that off. She does have a collision match though, so this was better than it kind of had any right to be, and that a lot of that was down to Toni Storm being really giving when it came to Sky Blue in the match. I thought like she really got a good match out of her, because Sky Blue is very green, sky green, and that's not her fault. She's really young, but I thought it was really good. Saraya wasn't there, which was a huge positive. They had a cardboard cutout of her instead, so I think that made the match overall more watchable. We still got into silly shenanigans that I hate and just make me not like the Outcasts as an act, even if I do like Toni Storm and Ruby Soho individually. Spray paint, stuff like that, no. However, gotta hand it to Sky Blue. And then we had, of course, a post-match beatdown, but Willow Nightingale came out to make the save. Love Willow, and her and Sky are like a nice little TV friendship thing. I think that's pretty cool. And the more we see of Willow, the better. Then we had Renee backstage with Hook and Jack Perry. Hook was definitely trying to catch my eye in a big pumpkin t-shirt. So Jungle Boy spoke throughout. He was the one talking here, not Hook, and he basically accepted a challenge laid out earlier in the night by IWGP champion Sonata for Forbidden Door. People were not into this. You could hear people in the crowd kind of be like, oh, because when Sonata issued that challenge earlier in the night, a lot of people were like, who's going to accept it? Oh, wouldn't it be great if so-and-so did? And Sonata, this is my personal opinion, not the most interesting wrestler, I gotta say, not the most interesting IWGP champion we've ever had. Certainly the worst one we've had on Forbidden Door in its 2-year history. But I don't think people were feeling Jungle Boy accepting this. He referred to Hook as his best friend, which probably means he's turning on Hook. And Jungle Hook are a nice pairing. A nice to look at pairing, definitely. Jungle Boy, I think that Pillars feud did nothing for him, like absolutely nothing, because I was so into the him and Christian feud. I loved their match at Revolution, despite the great stuff that there was in Revolution, like Hangman Moxley. Christian Jungle Boy was the match that I rewatched the most, so I absolutely loved it. And then they threw him into that Four Pillars feud that he just wasn't ready for, and he kind of bombed, to be honest. So he needs a bit of rehab, and maybe our heel turn is where we can go, because we've seen ever since he's been feuding with Christian, it's like he has like this pull to the dark side, whether he should become a bad boy or not. And maybe we're getting into Jungle Bad Boy Jack Perry phase. Maybe he's gonna like go and get some of his dad's old 90210 leather jackets, or maybe he could get some Riverdale gear. I know his dad was like the good guy on Riverdale, but imagine if he went to the serpent side. We get leather jacket Hook, or leather jacket Jungle Boy. Sorry, leather jacket Hook would be too hot for TV. But yeah, we're getting Jungle Boy and Sonata at Forbidden Door. Then we had the Hung Bucks defeating John Moxley, Claudio, and Wheeler Yuta. This is a rare loss for the Blackpool Combat Club. The match overall, I thought, was very good. It was very exciting. I love the Blackpool Combat Club. Hangman, I'm still wanting him to be solo. The Bucks, I wonder how long they are for this world of AEW. But anyway, it was really, really good. So the match is won by Hangman hitting the Buckshot Lariat. And then after the match, we had Claudio and Moxley just attacking them. And then out of nowhere, Eddie Kingston's music hit. I literally screamed. I love Eddie so much. We haven't seen him for ages. He was doing a lot of Ring of Honor stuff, and then he had to get hernia surgery. So he came out and just started attacking Claudio, which seemed totally random, but they have a ton of history. And if you remember, Kingston was mad at Claudio at Blood and Guts because Claudio got the win when Kingston was trying to specifically defeat Jericho. Kingston had Jericho, but the win was given to Claudio. And they never properly told that story. I think that after that is when we had the terrible barbed wire match between Kingston and Jericho, and I just felt like that Kingston should have like moved his anger over to Claudio and done that feud, but they didn't do that. And then we had Takeshita coming down. He attacked Kingston. Then we had Kenny Omega, who, you know, had said that he was going to go get some friends. He came down, started brawling with Takeshita. And then the Bucks and Paige took out the BCC with triple dives. And then right as Omega was going to do a Terminator dive, Will Ospreay appeared and wiped out Kenny Omega. He hit him with a hidden blade. We ended with him like standing tall over Omega. Danielson saying he thinks Ospreay is going to win at Forbidden Door. Then Ospreay also hit a Stormbreaker. Don Callis was at ringside. Danielson was applauding him. And then he got another hidden blade in. So, absolutely wild ending. Getting Kingston, getting Omega. You could even include Takeshita in that. And then getting Will Ospreay. It was very WCW, but like in the best possible way. It was totally chaotic. Then Excalibur on commentary, he just had so much to promote, like collisions happening, Rampage, next week's Dynamite, Forbidden Door. It is all going on. So it was like slightly messy just in the way that there was too much, but it was also really exciting, and everyone just needed to take a breather afterwards and really just absorb what they had just watched. I thought it was awesome. I don't really know why Eddie has come back, because he is in the G1 this year and that's next month, so I'm not sure how much time he's going to have to tell like whatever story, but maybe he can tell a story that leads into something that also happens in the G1. I'm not sure, but it's just so cool to see him back. And it was a great surprise of having Ospreay make an appearance, which none of us expected. I think that Kingston got the loudest pop of the night, though. I think his pop was bigger than Ospreay and bigger than Sting, but people fucking love Eddie. I love Eddie, and they've never truly taken advantage of having Eddie Kingston on the roster. And I still don't think it's ever going to happen where we see Eddie in like a main position. I think that that time has passed, but it's so good to see him back. Then we had announced for Rampage, we're going to get Ospreay, Jeff Cobb, and Carl Fletcher taking on Chaos. Well, they didn't actually announce that. They said that Ospreay would be in action at Rampage, but that is the match. Rampage also has Takeshita versus Bandito. Then for Collision, it is Punk and FTR, CMFTR versus Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Samoa Joe. We have Wardlow against Luchasaurus. Miro is returning to action. I can't wait for that. We have Sky Blue and Willow facing Tony Storm and Ruby Soho. Buddy Matthews versus Andrade is returning. I'm so, like, obviously I'm most excited for CM Punk, but I can't wait for Miro to be back in AEW, and I'm ready to welcome back Andrade as well. And then next week's Dynamite, we're going to have Orange Cassidy and teaming with Shibata to take on Daniel Garcia and Zack Sabre Jr. So that was a really awesome Dynamite, I have to say. And who knows what's going to happen on Collision on Saturday? I can't wait to see it. I can't wait for Punk to be back. Who knows if he'll ever cross paths with the Elite in AEW? But I'm genuinely excited. Please watch my video where I put forward some of the issues with Collision. And I think one of the big ones is it is kind of hard to have faith that this will be a show, a must-watch show every week, given how Rampage went. But I really hope that the fact that Punk is on Collision makes them continue to be invested in it, even if the ratings, aren't as big as Dynamite's. But it's going to be great. I will review Collision. I will review the first episode of Collision on my channel. I'm not sure what day. I will try to do it as close to after the airing as possible. I'll try and do it on Sunday or Monday, but I'm just not totally sure. Please go watch my video about All In weekend. I've been really working hard on it and just excited for you all to see it. Thanks everyone so much for their support. Hit that subscribe button. Go check out my Patreon. Go check out my channel memberships. And yeah, I will see you again next week. Bye.